Hi and welcome back to my channel. Today I thought that we could go through my entire physical TBR together. I've been really working on reading the books in my physical TBR and I'm down to I think 40, and I think I started the year at 100 something. We're really dwindling down and I love it. It feels really good. Do I have a lot of books to read now? No. Which sucks, but 40 is still a lot of books. I just thought it would be kind of cool to like go through them all. You guys could tell me if you see any that you're like, oh, you should get to that ASAP, and I can have it just kind of for like the records, you know, of like what I had when. I would never want, like my goal is never intended for it to be at 0, like, because then what, that's not fun. But I have unhauled a lot of books this year that I'm just no longer interested in, and it feels really good to clean off that space for books that I am really interested in. And then on top of that, I have been trying to get to books that I've had for a really long time. So finally getting things like going through my TBR at like within an appropriate time frame, if that makes sense. So I guess let's just start going through them all. Not really like rhyme or reason to any of this. I'm just kind of gonna go through like shelf by shelf and talk about them. So first I have all of my penguins that are unread. Sense and Sensibility, Pride and Prejudice, The Picture of Dorian Gray, and The Haunting of Hill House. I've decided with my penguin collection that I'm only going to pick up books that I actually am interested in reading. I talked a couple of videos ago about me being unable to decide if I wanted to collect all penguins or just penguins that I actually want to read, or classics that I care to own, like care enough about to own. And I decided that I'm gonna go with the second route. I had a couple penguins of books that I wasn't interested in, and I was like, oh, I like the look of it, you know, having more and trying to really get like a bigger collection. But I decided kind of quality over quantity for this, because when I look at these, like these are all classics that I actually want to get to, and I have a couple more that I've already read. So it's like, I like the idea of looking at them and being like, oh, I have a collection, and it's a collection of things I actually care about or will want to read someday. Then I have 2 editions of Moby Dick. These are adaptations of Moby Dick. I have read Moby Dick, but I haven't read these particular books. Then I have A Game of Thrones and 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. These I have kind of randomly on top because these are my current reads. I'm in the middle of these. Then I have Legends and Lattes. This is a recent purchase, so that's why I haven't gotten to it yet. I really wanted to save it for fall time when I bought it. I think I bought it in like July or August, and I was saving it for fall. But now, unfortunately, there are so many things that I need to read before the end of the year to check off a lot of my yearly goals. Like I didn't do, I think because I got married twice this year, and it's like I was so busy, I didn't read as much as I anticipated. So I'm kind of having to catch up on all those goals. I don't know if I'll have time for it. I'm hoping maybe I could sneak it in sometime in like November possibly, but we're just gonna have to see how well I do on reading the other things I need to. But this is definitely one that I'm really excited about. I know it's so cozy. I've never read a cozy fantasy, so I am really excited to dive into this. Lord of the Flies. I've never read Lord of the Flies. I do have, like I said, I have a lot of classics. A lot of them are modern classics or regular classics, I was gonna say, but most of the modern classics don't have penguin editions, so I've had to get them in other editions as I've like found them at the thrift store. But I do always check if they have a penguin edition, but most modern classics don't have penguin editions yet, not in the like black penguin that I prefer, at least. Never read Lord of the Flies. I've also surprisingly never read To Kill a Mockingbird. I was almost named after a character in here. I was almost named Scout, so I don't know, but that I was almost named after this book and I've never even read it, so kind of want to get to that one. And then I have Dune. This is actually Girk's book, my husband. He hasn't read it and I haven't read it, but it's definitely one that I want to read. We have like, there are quite a few books like that we own that are his books that I have no interest in reading, so they're unread, but like it's because they're his, not mine. But this is one that I definitely also want to read. I really want to get into the Dune series, so I'll read this at some point, but it's not like high priority for me. Then I have The Color Purple, another modern classic that I really want to get to at some point. There's something about this edition that I love so much. It's very heavy, like it's weighty. It's the paper is like really thick and like silky. There's something about this I really like. So I'm excited to get to this. I've seen the movie. I am obsessed with the movie. I think it's a beautiful, heartbreaking story, and I really want to read the book at some point. Then Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. This was like a family copy, like, I don't know. I don't really have a huge desire to ever read this one, but at this point it's like the copy matters more to me than like the story, but it is unread, so like I'll include it, I guess. We met in December. I have heard not very good things about the story, but I love Christmas romances. I'm a huge sucker for Christmas romances. Like any other romances that are normally that cheesy or that dramatic or whatever, I don't like, but if it's Christmas, I'll eat it up. I talked about this in my end of year TBR, but I am planning on doing like a Christmas romance vlog at some point in December. Not quite sure the exacts on that yet though, and this will definitely be one of them. So by the end of the year. Then I have High Fidelity. I hate this copy, but I think it was like $1, I'm not even kidding. And it's in pretty scrappy quality, which is fine. Like the quality, I'm fine with used books. I'm actually a big fan of used books, but it's a movie cover. Don't bring me around a movie cover. Don't. But I wanted to get this because originally I planned on doing some sort of video revolving like revolving around like my parents' favorite books, and this is one of my dad's. Then I have Miss Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. This was one that I had to read for uni, and I ended up not finishing it. I was able to get really good grades with not reading the book. This was one that I just didn't have time. It was like the end of the school term, and I had a lot of other things to focus on, so I didn't get to fully finish this one for that class, but I didn't have to, luckily, to still get the grade that I needed and wanted. But I liked it, and I really like Virginia Woolf. I read A Room of One's Own a couple months back, and I absolutely fell in love with it and everything she had to say. And when I read about half of this, and maybe a third, and I did really enjoy it, so I'd love to give Virginia Woolf another chance with fiction. Then I have, God, I need to take the sticker off because it annoys me so much. I have A Court of Thorns and Roses. I was never really planning on reading this series, to be honest, but my sister-in-law is absolutely obsessed with it, and she said I have to read it. Like, have to read it. I remember back because I've been making booktube videos since like 2015, but I made them on my other channel, my main like lifestyle channel, and I remember the original cover of this with her standing there, and I remember thinking like, what, this is so fucking cheesy, and like this is just not my style, like this YA fantasy Beauty and the Beast retelling. Like, no, you couldn't have paid me to read this. You couldn't have. But there's something about this cover, it just changes things for me. Like, a good cover could change my idea of a book 100%. Sorry. And this book is YA, right? That's what everyone says. But then she decided to turn it into like an adult. So now I'm like keen, you know. Homegoing, this is on my end of year TBR. This is one that I want to get to before the end of the year. I'm so excited to read this. I just know I'm gonna fall in love with this story. The Martian, I love the movie. And then I read Project Hail Mary last December and loved it. So writing style wise, I know I'm gonna love it. Story wise, I know I'm gonna love it. The Great Alone, this is one I'm actually contemplating unhauling because it's like, first of all, you're ginormous. But everybody I know in real life and online who has read this has given it 5 stars. That's wild. It didn't really sound like my cup of tea, to be honest, but I've never read a Kristen Hanna before. And I actually found this at a free little library, so I got definitely blessed with this edition and how good of quality it is. But I don't know, it's intimidating, and I don't know if I'm like fully keen, so you guys will have to let me know, like, do you think that this is worth the size and like the commitment? Their Eyes Were Watching God, another modern classic. I think this edition's so cool. It's so sick. It's just the cover, stunning. Really excited to get to this one. I've heard nothing but amazing things. Harry Potter. I've never read Harry Potter. Never read Harry Potter, but absolutely obsessed with the movies, absolutely obsessed with the story. I'm only buying them secondhand for obvious reasons. This is one that I was wanting to read before the end of the year, but I just don't know if I'll have time. It is such a quick read because it's like technically a kid's book, like middle grade, right? But it's also, since it's Harry Potter, and I know that if I get into it, I would want to probably complete the entire series, obviously. I would still want to like take my time with it and really try to, you know, see like the magic in it and stuff. I am really excited to get to this at some point. Then I have American War. I don't have the cover for this one. I found it at a free little library when I was dropping some stuff off, and it sounded really interesting, but there were a lot of Book of the Month Club books there, and the person had taken all the dust jackets off. This book sounds really good. I'm excited to get to it at some point. Then I have Karma Kalar's Mustache. I got this because it is a Punjabi main character kids book. My husband's Punjabi, our kids will be half Punjabi, so I tried to like look for books that have representation for them in the future. I haven't read it yet. I don't know if I ever will. I mean, I probably will, but I more got it just to like have in the future. Okay, my memory card filled up, but we're back. So then I have Catch-22. This is another one I've considered unhauling before because I got it at the library book sale. It was like $1, and in the moment I was like, okay, a modern classic, right? But then I started like reading about it. Do I care about this? It's like a war novel, like a spy war action-y novel. There's like the sweetest note in here from 99, and look how like of good quality this book is still in. Fucking 24 years this book still looks like this. One page is white. This was kept in like a safe. 1984. I always thought that I read 1984 because I've read Animal Farm and I'm absolutely obsessed with it. I don't know, I just had always thought that I had read it, and then I was thinking about it one day. I was going through my read shelf on Goodreads and I was like, I feel like I know the story, but have I actually ever read the book? I don't think so. We Mandela affect ourselves sometimes, I swear. Then I have William Shakespeare's Much Ado About Mean Girls. It's the story of Mean Girls but told in like Shakespearean text. So this one seems really fun. I don't know when I'll get around to it. It's more just kind of like a gag, you know, like it's more fun. Then The Great Gatsby, another modern one. Never read it in my life. People say amazing things, just never gotten around to it. The Song of Achilles, I just got my hands on this one. This is definitely more of a recent find. So it's a newer one on my shelf. This is the newest book on my shelf, which is Wreck the Halls by Tessa Bailey. Christmas romance. Super excited for it. This is definitely going to be involved in that Christmas romance reading vlog that I was talking about earlier. She's Come Undone. This is the only book in my entire life I've ever seen my mom read. So I don't know if it's her favorite, but I'm pretty sure it is. So that's the book that I was going to read for her part of that video that I was talking about earlier. And then I have A Christmas Carol. This is technically a penguin, but it's not a penguin, it's a puffin. It's a puffin. But they don't have this book in the regular black penguin. They only have this one, but I love it because they made it so Christmassy that I love using this as like a decor piece as well. Like I'll put it on the coffee table with like a candle on top for the Christmas season, and I just think it's really, really nice. Secretly Yours by Tessa Bailey. Girk got me this for Valentine's Day, which is so, so cute. And I just haven't had the chance to read it with all the other things that I've been wanting to read this year and with how busy I've been this year, honestly. I think that the sequel already came out, which is wild. I don't know if it's a duology or a trilogy. I'm kind of like waiting to suss it because knowing Tessa Bailey, I'll probably want to like dive right into it like I have with all her other ones. Daisy Jones and the Six. Don't have much to say about it. Shadow of the Wind. I just found this at a thrift store not too long ago, so really excited to have this on my TBR shelf, own it physically. I really like this copy. I've never seen this copy before. It's kind of like a peachy color. I like it a lot better than the other one. There's something about this one that's so pretty to me. But yeah, I've only owned this for like a couple weeks. This one, I've considered taking this off my TBR. Girk, I think, still wants to read it, so I wouldn't unhaul it, but I've considered taking it off my TBR because the more I think about it, I get nervous about its intention, right? Like a lot of people say it's torture porn, and I think like the older I get and the longer this sits on my shelf, I kind of think that that's true, just because it's like, is there a point to it though? Like I feel like they use Jude just as a way to like, I don't know how to explain it. I haven't read it, but I know enough about it to be able to express that thought. So I'm a little hesitant to pick this up just because it's like, do I want to read about a character who goes through shit just for the sake of like hurting the reader? Like that just, if there's no point at the end, that really does just seem like torture porn to me. So I don't know about this one. Then lastly, I just have a couple nonfiction. So I have Attached. I've heard really good things about this book. I think that it's really helpful for people who have like anxious attachment styles, which is definitely more, I would say, like me. I'm really excited to get to it. I have thought about getting rid of this copy and purchasing a different one just because this one literally got ran over by a fucking car. Like multiple times. Like I don't know if someone read this and really did not fuck with it, but like there's tire marks, not just on one page, but like on multiple pages. It's kind of yucky. And like I said earlier, like I actually really prefer used books. I think there's just something about them that's so nice. But this one's like a little too yucky for me, maybe. Like this one's like a little gross. And since it is kind of more workbook style and you really have to be like, you know, pay close attention to the text and whatnot, I think that's what's made me a little hesitant to like read it, because I'm just like, every time it literally feels like dirt on my hands. So I don't know about that one. Then I have A New Earth, Awakening Your Life's Purpose. I'm really excited to get to this. I think this is one that I really want to try to read before the end of the year, because there's just something so great about this, I feel like. And I don't know, I'm really excited for this. I've heard such amazing things. I have read the first chapter before and I really like resonated with it. So this is one that I would like to get to sooner than later for sure. And I have The Body Keeps the Score. I've read the first part of this like 100 times. Like, and really, you know, annotated it and whatnot, but I always get stuck, and not in like a way where it's triggering for me. I have heard that about this book though, so definitely like be careful if you were ever wanting to read it. But it wasn't really triggering to me. It actually was kind of healing in a way, because I was reading about a lot of things that I've gone through, or things that, you know, issues that I have because of my PTSD and stuff, and it actually was really nice just to feel like not alone and learn the science behind it. I love being able to connect something with reason. It was cool reading the more biological part of it though, like, oh, this is what it actually does to your brain. It changes your chemical compounds. Like it literally like completely, like people with PTSD, people with trauma literally have a completely different, their brain is so different than people who don't. And I think that that was really cool learning, like, oh, that's why things are harder for me in this way, or that's why I react to things this way. Like, it was really nice, but it did get a little repetitive. I got maybe like to here, I think, around there, so not very far in at all, but I already just felt like it was a little like, okay, yeah, like you've already said that, so it made it a little boring. And then I have Atomic Habits. All the girls who have their shit together fuck with Atomic Habits, and I'm trying to be like them. So this is on my like 23 books before 2023, or wait, no, sorry, in 2023 list. So I definitely will get to this before the end of the year, and I'm excited to see if I learn anything that I could implement into 2024. So I think that that is everything. So like I said, let me know, like, you know, the books that I'm hesitant about, let me know if you've read them, what you feel. And then if there's any on here that you're like, oh my god, you have to get to that ASAP, definitely let me know, and I'll put it on like top priority for, you know, probably the next year. But subscribe if you haven't already, and like the video if you liked it, because it does really make a difference to support the channels that you like and the videos that you like. And I will see you guys in the next one. So bye.